locked in here for Nongshim, and they don't waste any time getting to it as well. I feel like this rounds out this roster really nicely.
I think you have to go like an Ezreal. I don't think you can go Xayah here. The enemy composition is so much disengaged. MF can work. You need something with a bit more range in it. If you opt into something short range, you're just going to get mangled. It's already going to be a pretty rough lane, although Rakan does have the sustain in his Q to kind of mitigate a bit. But, you know, DRX come out in a situation when the bot lane matchup's a little rough. And I remember we were talking while the draft was down about Azir into Talia. Talia was banned, so it's Azir into Aurora. I didn't know I was talking about that.
I did get a little bit confused.
I got a little bit confused, and then I confused you.
Yep.
That's what object permeance. If I don't see it,
equals second at the end of week 2 after being first the end of week 1. It is it's kind of nuts, but I'm looking forward to seeing whether they can get it done here as we jump into the Rift for game 1.
Yeah. So very, very vital that you just don't let Platter get free Qs off.
Well, I don't think Platter hit a Q because he just took a whole bunch of damage and there wasn't very much healing as a result.
Yep.
Teddy has been sort of allowed to chill out in this lane. We've mentioned a lot the experience situation, which is the most important part, and I think he's got all of that at least.
Yeah, Sponge has to be careful. He's already lost in terms of HP. Stun doesn't connect, though.
Yeah, you saw that. It was actually very cute from Sponge. He was waiting so that he could kind of be inside the wall to make sure that Gideon had the least amount of time to react to the Audacious Charge. But
good amount before that.
Kind of crazy as well. Lehen sticking around. Kingen going to turn up. That's a great handshake. It's now Kingen dashing forward. Is Teddy going to be okay? That's the question. Already the heal is now down and the teleport will be invested. As of course, Rich kind of wants to come down anyway. But Lehen, if he gets another handshake, this could be real dicey. Still he's taking a fair bit of damage as Pleta sticks around to make sure he helps out. But there it is. That's the handshake we were talking about. Pleta able to grand exit and he will now go back home. So that could be a little bit of a worry here for DRX. That's okay. Finally, the knockup is going to connect. Make it rain coming on down there as Teddy was really frustratingly minion blocked throughout. That is what it looked like to me. Sponge going to be able to take down that dragon and heading towards the bottom lane as we can see here. The rest of DRX then just going to be moving on back. And Rich and Sponge, can they kill the Gwen? That is the question. Teddy also is in trouble. Gideon going to clear out of control ward. They know exactly what's going on as the cleanse comes on through. Arrow comes down at the same time as Pleta just trying to shield up Teddy, and he does so. Jiwoo and Lehen so incredibly low, but Gideon, all he needs is a heroic charge, and Jiwoo stay out of double up range. That would be embarrassing if that was to happen, and he wants it and doesn't get it.
Nearly finds Lehen's there, pretty close, and you know, it wasn't a great situation.
Out of turret. The Rift Arrow going to help knock that one down as the deficit is even larger. And the risk is even... That ward's high value. As Fisher dives in, they knew exactly what was coming. Hostile takeover does nothing as Sponge able to get them out of there with the ulti. This is a lot of cooldowns now eaten. Rich comes in, immediate interruption on the quickness, but still able to get a couple of charms as the arrow finds no joy. The Ambessa gets out of there immediately, and the jungler is dead. Oh, the wallets, Ox. The wallets are just so heavy. And even though Nongshim have missed the majority of their buttons, it doesn't matter. Their mere existence is enough to push DRX away.
Yeah, they can just kind of stand there and do a little bit of damage, and it'll make all the difference. Oh, they found maybe Fisher.
Hostile takeover comes in. That's the Drake being picked up as Rich is going to flash away. Heroic charge from Gideon says good night to the Rakan. And Rich, yeah, he just realizes he's not going to make it out. The bailout was also still ticking, I believe, on the Aurora. Now,
I mean, they're doing the Arakan now, and
Pleta's going to have to face check. The arrow is going to come in after the handshake, and he does take a lot of damage. They're not going to overcommit, because the Arakan is the option by Sponge. Arakan is just going to be taken here by Nongshim. And this is the problem with a Poppy that gets ahead. You just get to press R from Fog of War anytime you want.
Yeah, a game where, like, I don't even think there's that caveat. There's not like the...
Yeah.
I just think they're so behind with a composition that's...
To be fair, I did think my hair was safe that last time as well. As Sponge and Rich are going to get this one turned on them. They thought they did a fair bit of damage there to Kingen, and in fact, Kingen does have the Arakan buff, so it doesn't even matter if he dies. Snip, snip, goes the Gwen, and Kingen's just playing a game of inches here towards the bottom side, and it's working. Jiwoo might actually get recalled, and so his withdrawal should be...
like, they still have a kill. You know, they got a recall, that's it.
Yeah, it's 8-0.
It is not going well, and I feel like at this point, you're kind of thinking about game 2. You're thinking about what went wrong. At least this is fearless, so you don't have to deal with some of these factors.
Oh, Teddy may just die. Needed actually a little bit extra there as Teddy was able to utilize his lifesteal pretty effectively. Going into the stealth, and Fisher should be dead now. No, not dead. He's going to be withdrawn now.
Well, this is some Gwen magic, and we questioned the leaving the Gwen open. I think we've seen generally Kalista be a lot more counterable.
Yeah. This is when I thought he was probably going to die, and it was going to be still like doomed anyway, and he didn't die.
Gwen is immune. I think that is the lesson we're learning here.
Yes. And DRX unfortunately are not immune. Oh, get over here, Sponge, as he does throw down the ulti, so that keeps him alive. Kingin, I was going to say he's in trouble, but he's probably not.
Big damage.
He definitely is. He's going to try and get bailed out, but it does not work. Keeper's Verdict gets rid of the Ambessa.
That's a real...
And going to have even more armor, so Rich and Teddy are going to do even less damage of how things going for DRX. As out goes Sponge once again. Is that targeted, Gideon? Okay, Teddy finding a bullet time.
Did some damage.
Yeah. It resulted in losing the red buff.
Feels like they're trying to pincer them in, get them to come into Baron, and then have Kingin collapse. But that Azir tower that's up will make it a bit more difficult.
Yeah, we don't know whether the Baron has been started. It has. Sponge, I don't know whether that was where we wanted to
That's so much damage on the jungler as well.
Yeah. All right, we started it. As it's Lehens and Gideon. So actually, have they started it? Basically from approximately 3,000 health. And that's what we're seeing right here. Wow, this Gwen does a lot of damage.
Yeah. He actually has some items. He's close to Infinity Edge.
There we go. They don't have an Azir. That's a negative. They don't have bullet time either, as the arrow is going to hit onto Teddy. He does try to Captain Jacket, as that is a nice ulti from Sponge. They've eaten a fair bit of the engage, but it's only a one-person grand entrance. And Fisher is now looking to try and answer it. Hostile Takeover finds no joy at all, but it just buys space. They're able to get themselves the inhibitor. Rich is fighting against Kingin and actually doing pretty well in a fair fight. I don't think that Nongshim have any intention of actually having a fair fight here. They don't really. And so now we're going to see another attempted pick, and it's Gideon. And so DRX realized that 3 people are not enough to...
Is 5?
To kill the Poppy.
7? How many do you need at this point?
Yeah, a lot more than that.
Yeah.
Or just maybe a lot more time.
Or maybe just stronger people.
Yeah. Or a game 2 in a fearless draft scenario.
That could be good.
That would certainly help to deal with this Poppy issue right now. And it's not because Poppy the champion is that broken as well. I mean, she is very, very strong. Just an assumption that the Poppy was going support. So they wouldn't need to deal with double as bullet time going to come in. Lehens will be taken down immediately. Good knock up there from Sponge, but he realizes Gideon is not a correct target. But going to be taken down as Kingin looking so dangerous, but Rich as well is doing a fair bit of work. Kingin goes golden. My God, the needlework is absolutely terrifying. And there are 2 inhibitors down, remember? So Super Minions making their way towards the base. It is a 2-for-1 trade. And Nongshim with a man advantage are looking to try and end game 1 here. 31 minutes in. And in goes the public execution. I just don't know whether it's going to do anything. And in fact, there's a reason for that, because it didn't do anything. Yukao goes golden, but that is just to watch this Nexus turret go down. That was a cute little shifting sands. And there goes the Nexus. Goodbye. Nongshim with a game 1 win over DRX.
라인 타고 갈게. 나 물렸거든. 살짝 갈게. 천천히. 야 그거. 나 쉽게 짜부터. 야 짜부터. 짜부터. 아 질 것 같아. 이겼어. 쭉 가자. 가자. 아직게. 오케이 잘했어. 나 끝이겠네. 뭐야? 야 끝내자. 아지를 높을 놓고. 할 수 있냐? 야 이거 근데 할만해. 끝내. 끝내. 애쉬 바텀 가줘 바텀. 야 날릴게 얘들아 이번에 궁으로 타워 쳐 얘들아. 아지를 높은 노공이야. 나 이거 더블 키고 한번 쳐볼게. 미포 노공. 아직게 맞아. 야 하나 빼야 돼. 보자. 타워. 타워. 아지를. 타워. 아지로 가줘.
They cannot face another Poppy this series.
Yeah. I think they will appreciate that.
Yep.
You get into range top laners, like Kennen could be a really strong one into Renekton.
See what Kingin does want to do here. Instead, it is Cassandra.
Okay, I mean, if it wasn't already solidified by the fact that they have Roam, this solidifies it has to be on Varus. And honestly, kind of like DRX's composition more. You know, they have the strong backline into a short-range composition. Nongshim need to engage onto the DRX comp, who have a Braum, who have a Victor, who have a Varus. You know, yes, Nongshim looked way better game one, but they also had a worse draft.
Yeah. No, I felt like draft was the biggest factor in game number one as well. I think that often leads to a lot of these games that feel extraordinarily doomed because the win condition is hit so incredibly quickly.
That do pair well with her.
Yep. It is another hot dog as well. You love to see that one as DRX take to the Rift one more time against Nongshim, see whether they can bring it to 3. That is indeed what he's doing. Hopefully G-Sun can keep her eye on the other camera to see whether he does come back to give us any information about said stolen watches.
Yeah.
Because I always thought that that was a very funny line.
Just charge into Sponge's jungle, and in fact Sponge is going to charge into his jungle.
Oh no, there's a hot dog. And the lawnmower is here. The natural counter to a hot dog is in fact a lawnmower.
Guys, I just want to say, Fuface, I'm not accusing all of them.
All right. We're going to say that Lehens wasn't accusing Pleta. However, he's going to get angry at him regardless. Winter's Bite stacking up. Gideon here just a little bit late. Ruthlessly be a predator. And it's going to do absolutely nothing at all. Nongshim still with control of these grubs. I do want to talk first one as Sponge wanting to secure this, but Gideon good smite. Gets out, makes sure that the hot dog has a lot of license to go in. There's an all-out onto Rich as he slices, dices, acting all cool, and he's just going to play some b-ball outside of the school. Not dying. Not right now.
New for that.
Yeah, it's very true. Sponge, ooh, he had an idea. Throws one of these hot dog daggers over towards Gideon. What are the daggers in the hot dog skin?
Are they like mustard or?
For this game to go a little bit later as well. It's kind of important as Sponge going to move on over. There is so much vision here for Nongshim towards his top side as Yukal does make it into this brush first, but Pleta's going to get engaged on. He's a Braum though, as there's another. It's just his signature move now. The old flash from Lehens. Sponge going to be able to flash out of there, gets himself a shield, and Pleta just being the hero here as Teddy trying to get on in, but he's going to get stunned up. Gio going to be going down for first blood though, and Lehens going to be the next one. There's the stun, there's the kill. And Sponge was basically dead and then ends it off by stealing away the second kill of the game.
Oh, gotta watch out for Gideon. He's still very healthy.
He is. Doesn't have a massive amount of damage. Yeah. This is the scary part. Sponge able to jump on over and maybe Gideon going a little bit too fast. There it is. Pleta going to grab his first kill. And Fisher just walks up to them in melee range. The ulti used onto Pleta. He's so incredibly tanky. And Fisher just has no damage. Yukal going to come on in and says, that's my lane opponent. And that's my kill.
It doesn't matter.
Nope. And Jiwoo, what are we doing here? Why are we here? What's happened? Yukal's going to get another kill. Lehens is moving down. Gideon and Lehens don't have a lot of damage together, but Sponge is not very healthy. Never mind. Pleta comes in. Stand beside Braum. As Lehens is just going to walk away. Fisher moving in, spells the disengage from DRX, and they are now 5-0. This is a shellacking just on the other side.
Yeah, and really, the lack of damage point there, very fruitful. These tanks alone, so hard to cut through. Even the Neferi, the Eclipse shield is like such a big blocker. Yeah. Would have taken a little bit longer for another route. Okay, Rich
is Rich gonna be okay?
I don't think so.
Well, he has the Dominus. Decent amount of fury there as well as he wants to slice and or dice, and he's just not going to be able to. Gets a Ruthless Predator down. It's just not really a thing. All right, Winter's Bite going to connect there as Yukal moving on over. They should be able to stun up Lehens. One more auto is going to do it. He's pretty tanky, and they don't have a massive amount of damage here with just a Rod of Ages completion on here. Fisher here towards the top side. Seems to be getting harder and harder to lane into Yukal at this point. As Yukal's just following him around. Death Ray going to come on through, and Fisher is going to say, all right, I guess I'll leave.
He is struggling.
Understandable decision.
Yeah,
Hail Arrows doesn't land.
Once again, forcing the hands fight.
Oh, there's a good old flash. Fisher actually able to get out of there. I don't think the bleed's going to be enough. Gets himself the shield. And so Sponge now has his flash on cooldown. That could be something. Ulti also down for the next little while. Doesn't mean all that much.
Yeah, a little bit of an ambitious play. Maybe hoping Fisher wouldn't react in time, but he still had flash, so I think a bit of an overcommit there. Oh, Rich does have the Black Fever.
Yep, all out coming on through here as the Dominus already down, so trading some ults. Meanwhile, there's a fight towards the top side of the map as well. Sponge going untargetable. In the meantime, Rich is just cutting down Kingin. Nowhere for him to go as Sponge is going to get pulled back. He's got a big old shield though, and this is what you were talking about. There's no damage down there. However, Jiwoo does have some, especially with Fisher alongside as Sponge will finally die. Thrown, well, not. Wait, he's alive! Maybe he's going to be able to get the kill, and now Lehens has nothing!
They have no damage!
Oh no! Sponge getting so much health back as well. Lehens is definitely dead. She was also going to go down. This is the disaster you were talking about. It was written on the wall by your friend Orcs. And Fisher just says, well, I guess I'll just try and kill mid. And unfortunately, a little bit too limited. This wasn't for Rich. Absolute monster Renekton performance. I think Morgan would be proud of Rich here.
The thing is, level 11, the ult does so much taking damage. On top of the fact you have the fully stacked Black Cleaver just burst through him at the end. I think King had really not anticipated that. Yeah, not ideal. And then here, okay, 2 tanks hitting him. He was nowhere near. Teddy actually nearly kills Fisher in the 1v1, but your carriers are dealing with the Varus. And you just see Sponge, the Eclipse Shield, getting so much value. And the sustain coming out as well. And here, Gideon can't even hit him. So low, and then gets the untargetable before he dies, and then gets the shield again.
Oh my god! And so much extra healing coming in immediately afterwards.
Yep.
Oh god, okay. And Jiwoo as well was never really going to have too much hope. And that's a big advantage. Pleta gonna move in. He's the Braum. I think they're pretty happy for them to engage onto the Braum, as there is the Chains of Corruption. Gideon gonna get stunned up, and yeah, Nongshim may not have enough damage. DRX have plenty. Fate's Call comes on through. That was an interesting interaction, as Rich, he's getting ruthless if ever I've seen it, and Fisher is just gonna delay the inevitable, is what I can see. Q was actually used there by Rich, but he's got another W. And Fisher is almost dead. There's the flash, just to make sure he goes down.
Yep, and rest of DRX pushing through mid with this Rift Herald, and you can't really engage onto this. If you engage on a Pleta, he's just happy to take that opportunity.
He was clicking forward the entire time. And 3 people were discovered in the brush. He's like, aha, this is what I want.
It's not just Braum, it's Celestial Opposition Braum. It's like the initial damage is mitigated by the Celestial Opposition, and then you put your wall up.
Yeah.
And it's like, well...
And then you press Locket.
Yeah.
And then, like, getting through a Locket shield. Want to pick some flowers.
Wait, they're just not aware, though.
Huh.
They see it. They see it with the minions. They got to move up. They should get here in time.
Yeah, they saw a Callista bouncing around.
It's only Callista damage on this, by the way. This is so slow.
Yeah, I mean, it's only Callista damage that they have, basically. Fisher will turn up, I guess. As now teleport in from the Renekton. Sponge taking a fair bit of damage. Remember, they're softened up by this Artican. And Yukal just standing on the side. Jiwoo's going to try and push him away, but he trades poorly. And Pleta, he catches 2 with the ult. Yukal going to be able to take down the 80 carry. That is 50% of the damage. And Lehen's gonna go down as well. Down goes Fisher, 100% of the damage now dead. It's a triple for Yukal. They'll take themselves all the flowers. And yeah, DRX, they're 9,000 gold in the lead now. This game is over.
Can't even criticize Nongshim for going for that play because the game was pretty cooked before then. It is now well done. But, you know, they had to try and make a miracle play.
Sorry, a Q out of King, and they don't find it. Fisher and Rich at it once again. As now no Unbound Soul and no ulti, as Rich able to get in front of him. Stun comes on through. I think Fisher is still going to be able to walk faster than Rich.
Yeah, it is hard to catch the Yone, but Sponge is coming down. We'll take the camp on the way.
Yeah, one slice coming on through, and there is Teddy on his way down as well. In goes Sponge. No ult for Fisher, and my god, the damage. Okay, it's a 607 Neferi now.
Yeah, Sponge just picking up a kill. You know, he killed the Wolves, he kills Fisher, he kills Gromp. Probably couldn't even tell the difference.
Rich is on the bottom side, making sure that there's no split push available here for King or anyone else that wants to be in a side lane. Fisher gets over the wall, knocks up Pleta, and Pleta says, engage on me, please. I would like that. Thank you.
Oh, they have found Yukal.
Yeah, see whether this is going to be an angle. The double knockup comes through from Pleta, though. He just flashes on top of his mid lane. They do not have any damage to take them down, and Rich gets over, finds the Unbound Soul, and Fisher has to flash away. Jiwoo getting taken down so low. He's out of this fight as well, and Kingen is separated from his team. Lehen's executed as well, and they are picked apart and mercilessly destroyed. Sponge, looking for it, dashes forward, and there it is.
There's the hot dog.
Yep, Gideon crashes into the wall here, and Teddy just stands his ground. Not going to be dying here. Has the barrier also and picks up the double kill. DRX, they grab themselves a clean ace, and maybe they're going to forego the Baron and just look to end this game.
Looking like we're getting a 6-gamer today, all the way, full distance. Nothing that can be done to defend here.
Nope, lands it up in 1 second's time, but it's not going to save these Nexus turrets as DRX do exactly what Nongshim did to them in game number 1 here in game 2 to bring us to a decider in game.
야, 3년 생각하자.
3 봐야 돼 이거. 나 여기서 끌릴게 이거 일부러.
나 걸렸어. 보자. 라켓 탔어. 라켓 탔어.
야 요네 평타. 요네 딜 못해.
야, 뒤에 산테 얘들아. 뒤에 산테. 괜찮아.
산테 평타. 산테 옆에. 궁거리 주지 마.
우리 산테 볼게. 알았어.
나 올라간다.
스탄.
바로 치자.
여기 와볼래, 형들아? 야, 나 이거 축가. 요네 노플. 야, 게임 끝내까 보자. 칼리 딸 것 같거든, 이거? 야, 왜 노플이야? 야, 나봐줘. 왜 노플. 해봐. 나 가는 중. 괜찮아. 그랬어.
Definitely some highlight moments on that Neferi. Neferi top damage.
That's nutty. That's a Varus and a Victor on that squad as well. And of course, it is on hit Varus, so it's a little bit different. But still.
Redeeming the first pick Neferi.
I agree. And that was just a shutout. I know that
I think Rel makes the most sense with the composition. You need someone to set up the dive. You need someone to set up that AoE damage from the Lily and the Rumble.
Still just feels so hard because, like you were saying, like the Rel locked in on 4 would have then been immediately answered. And I did sort of like I was thinking about Pleta being so good on the pick, but like you say, into the Alistair and into the options that Nongshim have right now, it just feels dicey. And you can see, yeah, I imagine that DRX is going to have to finagle their way into a positive position in this game. Maybe some funny business, maybe some shenanigans.
I think Nongshim have a lot of strength, right? You have the combo of the Orianna Nocturne, you have the follow-up from the Zeri, the Alistair. That trio is so strong. The Jace also good in lane.
Across the board, this hodgepodge, a bit of a rainbow, is absolutely fine, and you obviously have to take Jackie Love's skin. Let's dive under the rift for game 3. DRX fans extraordinarily loud as Rich is almost just dead. He flashes. I feel like they were already kind of backing away at that point in time, as now Pleta dives in on towards Jiwoo. And the Ignite already employed, as Yukal's already here as well, and Teddy is going to join in. Down he goes, first blood, picked up by Yukal. And
Whereas,
I think Fish is still feeling it.
I don't think you can really blame Jiwoo for this though, because Yukal hasn't backed. He hasn't bought anything, you know?
Yeah.
This is just Corky. The cost of Lehens making these roams top. Rich nearly has his ult. 8 seconds, this is so rough.
Well, there's the paranoia, and yep, he's just dead. So no way in. Just needed to sack that wave. I made so many bad decisions though when it came to buying runes. As flash forward here from King and gets on top of Rich. The equalizer goes down as Gideon wants to come on over, and yeah, Rich is just dead. Sponge, not going to be able to find anything here. Even spins around on the spot. It was cute pirouette, but not going to actually get you anything.
He's able to jump on him and force the play.
Oh, wow. Lehen's just coming out of nowhere. Has the ulti available. Flash out from Sponge, tries to create some distance, but it's not going to work. And even the turret loses interest in the cow. Got a couple of minions left as well, as now a teleport coming in. Pleta, can you find the angle? The Magnustorm is up, and he flashes over the headbutt. That was so sick from the young support, as down goes the cow. That's Rich on the board now as well, as they're even looking for more. King in.
Big influx of gold.
Wow, as soon as he was in vision, he's like, we're killing him.
Yep. A little bit unfortunate, but also credit to Gideon for essentially saving his top laner.
Yep, really nicely done. As King in looks for Yukal. That's a nice flash as Rich is coming over, but Gideon was chasing him down. There's the Dustbringer to finish it off as well as Gideon. What an incredible day this guy's having as well. Maybe not in game 2, but game 1 was all him, and he picks up a double here at the back end. 1.5k the lead. I think they see some of the shutdown gold being available. They say no. Killer Instinct does push Teddy in, but the headbutt immediately gets him out of there. Pleta not going to be able to find the angle, as Teddy completely out of mana as well as Sponge. Now going to get discovered. There's the paranoia. Oh, God. That doesn't even need.
I just feel like the top side of DRX kind of having a bit of a mare in this game. Some questionable decisions.
Yeah.
Some good plays from Nongshim that have forced them into questionable positions, and then some where I'm like, did you need to be there? Did you need to try and make that happen? And now, I mean, you look, there's 2,200 gold between top laners, 1,500 between junglers, 630 between mid lane as well.
Dragon for DRX, which I think is optimistic with a Nocturne. Paranoia unable to be used just yet. So that might actually give DRX the avenue in here. And Teddy, maybe this is the different game. Maybe this is the one where it's going to work. As Pleta says, Yeah, it absolutely is. There's the Magnet Storm. He pulls Fisher over, and you can...
Yeah. It's the pressure.
Yeah.
It's like when you see people on like those, what are they called? Like the TV shows, the quiz shows, and they just make the biggest fumbles. And you're like, I would never make that fumble. I'm like, yeah, but you're not on.
Yeah, exactly. If you had all of that pressure, it'd be a different story. Is the charge going to bypass the first turret because that was already dead? And now in goes Lahans, gets the headbutt back onto Rich. What do you have against this man? He still does get the equalizer down as another Magnet Storm comes in from Pleta, but he unfortunately just does not have any backup. There is no one else here to get anything done. Jiu just explodes with all that electricity.
Really, yeah?
That's true. He did get that Raptor Camp. I apologize. There was at least that. This Arakan, I don't know whether DRX are going to be able to stop it at all. Even getting past this Orianna is going to be enough of a problem as Pleta takes half of his health bar from an attack dissonance combo. Was that a shock blast? Yeah. So Sponge loses half of his health bar as well as they clean up all of these flowers.
Did you call Valkyrie when there's Paranoid Shockwave up? Can I just ask?
Yeah, well, I mean,
that'd be the question.
Yeah, that would be an odd move. As Lahans is just going to get Sponge out of here. The Baron is getting taken down so incredibly low. There's the Paranoia. Even though the ward is there, it does not matter because they turn the lights off. And now they go in, but the flash does come through. Equalizer comes down. This time, it might be an opportunity as Pleta will be traded for the jungler, but down goes the Alistair as well. DRX, maybe they have them where they want them. And here's Rich. Yeah, Teddy goes in. He flashes out immediately, though, and now it's Sponge's turn. Can someone please get Sleepy? Never mind. Oh! Already used it, that shock blast. My God, and look at that. Like Moses, Jiwoo splits the blue sea, I guess, because it's DRX.
I think Kingen remembered he had a gold lead.
Yeah.
Oh, it was looking good for DRX.
They still won the fight, but the Baron is still there under 3. So investing for what feels like just an extendo beam is 2 inhibitors.
That was a Hex Flash.
Oh, it's just Hex Flash.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Sponge is out of the fight, if you can really call it that.
Was he ever in the fight?
Yeah.
Let's see. They got to make a miracle engage attempt. Last chance.
There's an equalizer available for Rich. I mean, Pleta does have his Magnet Storm available. Doesn't have his flash, but he can theoretically go for a Hex Flash or something. Headbutt pulled there from Lahans as the Magnet Storm is now going to be employed, but immediately there goes the combo right on top of Sponge yet again. They don't manage to finish him off as double kill for Gideon to start this one off. Sorry for Yukal to start it off, but Kingen is actually just a monster. He's the entirety of this team right now in just one champion. He's down to 50%. Yukal does get his health bar back, but the Nexus is naked. And Rich, he also gets his health. That's a big one. And this is a big one as well. Rich goes golden, in goes Yukal, and Kingen gets a shield. Jiwoo, I don't know about that one. You had no more friends left as Shock Blast. That's a plane.
It is.
Yeah. So Rich can now afford a Zhonya's. As Gideon might actually get sleepy. There's an equalizer. This is a choke point as Kingen's their target. He's trying to get himself out. He's gonna survive. That is so unfair. The Orianna also doing so much work here as he takes down Sponge. Out goes Yukal as well. And these wallets were already way too heavy. And then Nongshim decided they're gonna drop them on their heads. Look at this. Kingen's like, no, we are so done with this game. And he's gonna come on over and put the last few autos into this Nexus. This was an arduous series on both sides, but Nongshim, they stomped twice. And Nongshim now, having lost a game here, have now evened out their scoreline with D plus Kia. So I believe they share second place at this point. If my math is
no, I don't
correct.
think. I think they're lower in game score because they got 2-1. You said they needed a 2-0 to equalize.
No, 2-0 to get second.
Oh.
So they could leapfrog. But DK, they, it was 1-2, so they didn't get the extra win.
Oh, yeah, because
and so Nongshim only go up to 6.
We're doing that thing again.
As far as game score. Yeah,
maths.
so never mind. Yeah, no, the math is not good. The math is not good. Take it back.
We're doing maths on stream. We got to win.
I did math on stream.
We need help.
And I made a mistake. I made an error. Unless there is one less loss, but there isn't. So never you mind. They are third place. But they are very comfortably third place ahead of Hanwha Life Esports, which
that
is
was
very impressive.
Some big boom damage from Kingen.
Yeah, sometimes, so you know how we say, like, don't vote for the boom damage? Sometimes the boom damage is so boom that you probably should vote for the boom damage.
Yeah.
They held on to an 8K gold lead for, like, 12 minutes. 12 minutes. That's a lot of time.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Steer for the POM interview translation, joined by Gideon on the side of Nongshim Red Force. Congratulations.
받은 기드온 선수와 인터뷰 나눠보겠습니다. 오늘 승리 짜릿하실 것 같은데요. 승리 소감 들려주시죠.
How do you feel, Gideon?
오늘 좀 긴 하루가 됐는데 그래도 2등을
That was such a long day for us, but
2등을 확정지어서 기분
we
좋습니다.
네, 승리 진심으로
were able to win with a
축하드립니다.
2-1
선수가
score
벌써
and
두
take the sole
번의
position of
POM을
second place,
받고
which makes me
있습니다.
so
이렇게
happy.
너무 좋아하시는데 한마디 부탁드릴게요.
Oh, it looks like your
제
family is
가족인데
here.
와주셨는데
So
이겨서
happy
기분
to see
좋습니다.
you win. Yeah, they're my family. They're here on site. I'm able to show them win in front of them, which is just feels so great.
두 번째 POM을 받고 있습니다.
Gideon, this is your second POM already.
대단하다는 것을 저희도 느낄 수가
It reflects just how much influence you have on the team. So, how do you feel?
팀원들이 잘해주기도 하고 슈호 형 덕분에
I feel like
제가
my
좀
team
많이 잘해진 것
does
같아서
really well
슈호
for me.
형한테 고맙다는 얘기하고 싶습니다.
And you know, I would say that Lee Hans is the one that always makes me play better. So I want to say that I'm grateful for him.
슈호 형이랑
So what's something
운영적인
that
부분
you
얘기 많이
worked
했던 것
on?
같고, 그리고
I think with Lee Hans, we would talk
같이
about a
얘기
lot
많이
of the
하면서
macro
부족한 부분 많이 채워나갔던 것
plays.
같습니다.
And we would always work on everything that we need to improve on. And in game 1, you had a great top dive setup with Poppy as the front line. So were you the one making the
게임을
shot calls?
지저분하게 하는 걸 제가 선호해서 좀 적극적으로
You know,
좀
I
유도했던 것 같습니다.
prefer playing dirty plays and making dirty plays with Poppy. So I think that's what I really try to proactively do. And I did make the shot calls. And in game 2,
일단
in game 3, you took Jace, Doctrine, and Orianna comp. So can you walk us through the draft?
그리고 세주가 저격밴을 당해서 그냥 남는 거 보고
Because we
있습니다.
got target banned with the Sejuani ban, I think we really wanted to try to take and prioritize Jace as the first pick. And did you know Caster Prince mentioned that you remind him of Cloud Templar back when he was a player. So how do you feel about this?
해설님 굉장히 존경하고 선수 시절 때
You know, I
잘했던
really
기억이
do
아직도
look up
남아서
to Cloud
영광스럽게
Templar.
생각하고 있습니다.
And lots of respect to him, and then it's such an honor to hear something like that. And next week, you will face the mighty T1 and Hana Life Esports, and it won't be easy, but with today's confidence and momentum, you guys will do so great. So what mindset will you play with? I believe that Hana Life Esports and T1 are one of the best teams in the world, and it won't be easy, but we will do our best, and all 5 of us will do our absolute best to prepare for that match and hopefully get a good result. And the upcoming Lowly Night will feature the bot lane of Nongshim, Jiwoo, and Leehan's. So what kind of chemistry can the fans expect?
좀 많이 가르쳐주는 편이라
No, Leehan's actually treats Jiwoo like his own son. So I think if you can expect something like a father and son type of relationship from those two, it would be really fun to watch.
자, 그렇다면 오늘 이제 승리도 했는데
We will be looking forward to watching that Lowly
때려야
Night.
좋다.
And
네.
since you have finished the night with a good win, will you be eating some Nongshim Shinramen? Yes, of course. I will finish my night with that. And that's the end of the interview with Gideon, and back to the space. Thank you.